we have updates on the Knicks and the most likely starting lineup that they're going to be utilizing for next season. And NBA Insider helps to break this down by explaining why the Knicks ultimately signed Guerschon Yabusele in free agency. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks confirmed their most likely starting lineup for next season. Who will start for the Knicks next season? That's the main question here, right? Who will Mike Brown choose to start for this Knicks team? Well, honestly, we already know 4 out of the 5 guaranteed starters. But who's that 5th player going to be? If you've watched this channel, then you already know the answer. The most likely player that's going to start for the Knicks is going to be Mitchell Robinson. He's likely going to be that 5th player starting for this Knicks team. And let's go ahead and break down exactly why that's going to be the case. Shout out to SNY's Ian Bagley for answering the following question on the latest edition of his mailbag. He was asked, considering the roster as presently constructed, do you have an idea on who Coach Brown would be more likely to start? And here was Bagley's response. According to him, great question. Based on Mike Brown's lineups last season in Sacramento, you'd think that he plays Towns at center and brings Robinson off the bench. His 2 most utilized lineups last season in Sacramento featured Domantas Sabonis at center alongside the 6'6" Keegan Murray. But it's worth noting that during the free agency process, the Knicks valued Guerschon Yabusele's versatility off the bench, behind the starting lineup featuring Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Yabusele was signed before Mike Brown was hired, and obviously, the new head coach will ultimately decide the starting lineup / rotation for New York next season. But the fact that the Knicks factored in Yabusele's role behind the starting lineup featuring Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson tells you that internally there is some support for that starting 5. Ultimately, the starting lineup is going to be Mike Brown's decision. But clearly, internally, when the Knicks signed Guerschon Yabusele, they did it with a starting lineup of Mitchell Robinson in mind. And if you watch the postseason, you already know why the Knicks are going in this direction. When the Knicks started that double big lineup, those slow starts that plagued the Knicks in each and every game, they disappeared because Mitchell Robinson was helping New York on the boards early on. And because of that help, they were able to get second chance opportunities and convert on those opportunities to score and stay in the game, not get the ball taken away and see the other team scoring in transition, which happened a lot. Even after makes, the Knicks would have a problem in transition because other teams would run that ball up, push that ball up, and try to score on the Knicks, regardless of what the situation was. And New York needs to fix that. And one of the ways they did was changing the starting lineup, benching Josh Hart and starting Mitchell Robinson. And that was the best decision the Knicks made in the postseason. Playing Mitchell Robinson more against the Boston Celtics ultimately helped the Knicks win that series. And one of the main reasons Robinson is likely going to start is because of his impact that we all saw in the postseason. But what about the Knicks rotation? We obviously understand at this point who most likely is going to be the Knicks starting lineup. But what about that bench unit? What about that rotation? What players are going to be utilized the most under Mike Brown? Well, shout out to Ian Bagley because he helped to break this down for us as well, too. According to Bagley, New York already has a 9-man rotation. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson. That right there is your starting lineup. And there's really no surprise that that was the way the names were listed. That is your starting lineup for the Knicks next season. Coming off the bench, you're going to have Josh Hart, Jordan Clarkson, Guerschon Yabusele, and Miles McBride. That right there is a 9-man rotation. The only question is, will Mike Brown go to 10 players? And in my opinion, he definitely will. One of the main reasons he's going to do that is because of the talent on this team and also playing the matchups. Mike Brown, more than anything else, plays the matchups. And if there's a certain player on the roster that would do well in a certain matchup, Mike Brown might elevate that player and have them play a lot of minutes for that game. And that player might be the 10th player off the bench. I have no problem with that. I want a head coach playing as many players he feels like he needs to play. But more than that, playing the matchups so the Knicks have an advantage and a way to win. This is what modern NBA coaches do nowadays. And Mike Brown definitely needs to do that. Going back to the bench unit, one of the questions I had, once the Knicks play a first game and they have the starters playing their normal minutes, who are going to be the first 2 players off the bench for the Knicks? And I came to the following conclusion. It's either going to be Miles McBride and Jordan Clarkson or Jordan Clarkson and Guerschon Yabusele. Now, why am I saying this? Look at what happened last season. Now, I'm not saying that exact same situation is going to happen, but we know with Karl-Anthony Towns, he gets into foul trouble very often. And if that happens, he's going to need a backup. Who's going to be his backup? Likely Guerschon Yabusele. Yabusele can play the 4 or the 5. So either way, if Robinson gets into foul trouble or Karl-Anthony Towns does, Yabusele is going to be backing up one of them. We always know Mikal Bridges is one of the first players to go to the bench. If that happens, normally the player coming in for him is Deuce McBride. But will that change now with Jordan Clarkson being available on the bench? We might have to think about that. The reason I said Clarkson and McBride is because potentially you could see Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns head to the bench. And if that happens, you could insert Deuce McBride as your 2 and Jordan Clarkson as your 3, moving OG Anunoby to the 4 and keeping Mitchell Robinson at the 5. That's also a great lineup that I'm sure we're going to see next season under Mike Brown. There are so many different directions, so many different rotations and lineups Mike Brown can utilize for next season. And I'm sure he's going to do that. And the best part about it is we really don't know exactly what to expect under Mike Brown. And I love that. I love not knowing because honestly, for the last few seasons, I kind of knew what to expect already going into the season. Because after you've lived for 2+ years under Tom Thibodeau, everything starts to feel the same. So you stop thinking about changes and start thinking about what Tom Thibodeau is actually going to do. But this time around, that's all gone. Now, we just have Mike Brown, his optimism, and his openness with running this Knicks team. We know they're going to play faster. That's great. We more or less know their 9-man rotation. That's great. We also know the starting lineup that is most likely for next season. Awesome. We still don't know the minutes. We still don't know when the bench is going to come in, who's going to come off the bench, how they're going to be utilized, and the rotations we're going to see. There is still so much that we don't know about Mike Brown and how he's going to coach this Knicks team. But honestly, that makes me hype and excited because I don't know what to expect, but I expect greatness. And why? Because the pressure on this Knicks team, the pressure on Mike Brown, all of it is going to lead this Knicks team into greatness for next season. You can't have this level of pressure on you without creating greatness. And Mike Brown he's definitely going to do that. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks and their rotation and starting lineup for next season? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.